So I haven't asked anyone to sit for me or anything since then, really. And they move around or whatever, or I've seen them in a certain kind of thing. Like the person who just called is somebody that I had asked to sit for me one summer when we visited her. And then I let it drop because nothing struck me after that. And I realized at some point that she looked fantastic during the summer and nothing really worked out. And one day she took us to a concert and she had her hair done a different way and she was wearing a fantastic coat. And I asked her to sit for me then because like it was visually interesting, right? And eventually, actually, her husband bought the painting for their anniversary or her birthdays. But, like this girl, for example, like, you know, move around, do the certain things till I decide like how to do it, right? In this case, I posed her against a mirror which no longer exists. It's a cat knocked it over. It was a very large mirror, about 7 feet tall and about 2.5 feet wide, with a big heavy frame. Gone because it was small, rotten cat. Anyway, like she posed in front of it. We talked, of course, all during the thing. And the painting was over, I think, before I found like she was a Gemini. Like one thing I don't know, which maybe we find out, is Henry Geldzahler, because he's one of the few other people I ever posed against a mirror. Like I don't know, but it's like a double image kind of thing. And it was funny because like like this girl's basic things that she was so young, like there wasn't a strong personality, like she is, but it wasn't really developed at that point. There was more the beauty, like visually she was interesting, but like that way, that's very superficial. But this person who just called, it was interesting because I went to a party at her house, and I mean, she's like the best cook I know, and I know a great many, which is why it's hard to keep my weight down. But she's the best because she is the kind of person who would dare to make an incredibly simple meal because everything she does is perfect, right? Like I vividly remember many meals at her house, like in detail, right? And you don't often do that. Right. Okay. I painted the painting. She was happy with it, obviously. Her husband was. I was at a party at her house, the painting's in the living room. Some guy came over to me very belligerently and said, "How can you paint Barbara like that? She's a vivacious person and you've made her look angry." So another guy who was standing close to me turned around and said, "That's not angry, it's tense. And Barbara really is tense." And so I gradually eased away and let them fight it out, right? But the fact is, in relaxation, she is tense. Like she's told me, which had nothing to do with like how I felt doing the painting. I just did what I saw, right? But I didn't require her to have a certain expression or like anything like that. You know, like whatever anyone falls into is what they do. The pose is like something I decide on in terms of what feels right, whatever that means, which means it feels right to me in terms of whoever it is, whether I know them well or not well. And the fact is that she is tense, and she's told me before some of these incredible parties that she's given, in which she's the perfect hostess and is cheery and smiling and gay. She is literally sick. I mean, I like knock myself out like for 3 or 4 days before the party and everything. But I don't get sick over it because I don't feel that my reputation is at stake if something doesn't go right. Like I prefer everything to taste good and be okay. And I'm tense in a different sense. But the fact was, the second guy, of course, was right. There is a tenseness there. And I never thought about it. Like I don't think about things like that because I don't think it's important. Because I think you can't avoid that kind of thing getting into your work, whatever it is, whether it's non-objective or something. I mean, like you can't aim it. I mean, I don't want to aim it. A few times I have, but it's rare. Let's say those are the exceptions, you know, and then I had a very strong feeling about it. But in general, I do not aim a painting like in terms of someone, if it's of a person or even, well, with myself it's a little bit different, you know. But then I can manipulate myself into whatever thing it is, and that's confused people. I don't know. Well, because some people have been astounded by the fact that, well, actually in that article that Noelle wrote, she said I paint myself everything from a withered crone, and I try to think of something better than that because I can't think of anything like a withered crone or a young innocent girl. And I don't really think of it that way when I'm doing it. There's like a look that appeals to me. Like I look at myself in the mirror, and you know, sometimes I know I look marvelous, and sometimes I look hideous. You know, and in terms of painting, it's interesting to me because I'm flexible that way, and in terms of certain paintings, you know, I don't know, but I don't really think about it in terms of like I am going to look this way because that will fit in with this painting kind of thing.
I see.